Welcome back, everybody, to another Appreciating Comic Book Art. This time, we're going to be looking at my original preview book. The original preview book for Reeper Destroyer. Put out in 2007. This was a Wizard World Chicago exclusive. This was the exclusive sketch cover. So this is the last one in existence that I've got. Don Chin's got one of the last ones of the regular cover on here. So I figured since he's got that and it's starting to get out there a little bit more, let's take a look at this. But yes, original spelling of Reaper. I did that on purpose. 2 E's. I was trying to be cool back in the day. I don't know if it came off that way or not, but you know, whatever. I liked it. Back in the day, I liked it. This is Vengeance Studios. Was the original name of my studio that I was going with back then before I renamed it Superior Press, that the new book is being published under. So here we go. Yeah, 2007. I was, how old was I? Like 23, 24. Here we go. All right. So yeah, this, I'll just say this. I had no idea what I was doing with putting a book together. I got this printed at Kinko's, which is now owned by FedEx, but it was a place in my local place in the town I was living, a printer shop, so I went there and got it printed. They had no idea what they were doing. I gave them some dimensions of what I thought it should be, and they printed it out. You know, it turned out pretty decent. Shout out to Greg Harms, who did the color and graphic design on this. He kind of put this all together for me, because again, like I said, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. He came up with the logo. I don't even know how he did that, but yeah, big shout out to him. But the original team, me, Will Esseltine, was a guy I worked with at the time that was big into comic books, who always wanted to try writing, so we were like, yeah, why the heck not? Bruce Walker, who is Sean Aaron's brother-in-law, which is how I met Sean. Through him, met Bruce on MySpace. Back in the day, MySpace. Good stuff. Jason Arthur. I thought he did a pretty good job lettering this book, to tell you the truth. And then, I'm not quite sure who this was. I think it was somebody related to Greg. I can't remember, but they're in the credits too. A little bit of rundown of what the book is. I'm not going to read this right here, but if you want to pause it later, you can read it. This was the original concept for Reeper Destroyer. The new story is going to be quite a bit different. A lot of the names are still the same, but I put a lot more into the story than just kind of this basic run-of-the-mill kind of comic book story, I guess I could say. You know, so check that out, read it, let me know what you think. So here we go. So yeah, this being a preview book, not knowing anything of what I was doing back in the day, I tried to rush to get this done, to try to get it to the Comic-Con, Wizard World, and we were way behind. Greg had pretty much colored one page, which was this page, which I thought for back then, all of us, you know, just kind of trying to get our feet wet. Greg was kind of a veteran of the con scene, indie stuff, so he took the lead on a lot of this work, and I was just letting people do what they did. I think he colored this right off my original pencils, if I remember correctly. I don't know. Bruce might have inked these. It was all kind of messed up. Maybe he did. But here's the thing. So page 2 is just flats. We couldn't get beyond the flats because we didn't have the time. So I was like, you know what, let's put it all together. I'll take the flats, I'll take the colors, we'll take the inks, we'll take the pencils, and we'll just take it to the con and we'll sell it as a straight up preview book. And yep, it did good. I mean, we sold like almost 30 of these all together. My love for double page spreads. I mean, you know, I'm a product of the 90s and in the early 2000s, mid 2000s when we started working on this book. I mean, this was all my influences coming through. I worked on this book for over a course of like a year, just on again, off again, before we actually decided this was something we wanted to try to pursue. It's a lot of script. I scripted the entire thing with Will. Will did a good job. Ultimately, you know, kind of went with what I wanted to go with, but he kind of put it together. And you're going to see a noticeable jump from this style to the next page. Here we go. So I made a artistic style jump from the last page to this page. I started adding a lot more detail. I started getting into guys like Stephen Platt and Mark Silvestri a lot more. And you can kind of just, it reflects in these 2 pages, or these next 4 pages specifically. I just started pouring in more detail. Again, still learning how to draw. Designing things as I went. That's supposed to be like an inner chamber in this fortress, which, by the way, I never had an establishing shot to show you where he's at, so that was kind of a big mistake. And I just get, you got kind of trying to figure out what the hell that is. But at the time, it looked cool. It's Chaos, the first appearance of Chaos. She will be in the new Reeper Destroyer as well, like all these characters. This is Victor Reigns, one of the big bad guys. These are the Sirens. These are 3 demon witches, and they speak as a hive mind. I like the characters. They're pretty cool. Very evil. Very nasty. But yeah, like I said, this was in the days of how much detail can I pour into a costume? Like, I'm never going to be able to draw that costume in another panel in this book ever again. I don't know what I was thinking, but it looked cool. It was one of those things that just kind of, it looked impressive, So I'm still, I look back at this stuff. I'm still proud of it. I'm still happy with what I was able to accomplish with not knowing really what the hell I was doing in anything. It's just kind of all instinctual drawing. If anybody is familiar with the Reaper Destroyer campaign live on Indiegogo, by the way, right now, you will have seen this before. This was actually the original drawing of the Sirens I did back in 2006, 2007. And what I ended up doing is just took the form and I kind of just re-inked it with my more modern style and changed it up a little bit. But this became one of the stretch goals. Trading cards, everybody that backed that campaign will get. Beautifully colored by Dan Kemp. Yeah, I just always loved this sequence. Again, just progressing the story. Love these characters right there. I'm gonna have to bring them back at some point. Really like the design of them. Yeah, man, this was fun. This was the closest thing I'd ever done to doing a comic book at the time. It's now I'm doing this for real, redoing it, rebooting it, all that good stuff. But back in the day, this was fun to do. Still brings back a lot of memories looking at this stuff. And here we go. Here's the first shot we see of Reaper Destroyer, his original design. Which kind of gets lost a little bit there in the cracks. Let's see if I can do this. Maybe. I don't know. More of a trench coat than a cape. Got his guns going. Double page spread. The only regret I have about this is that I waited till page 12, I think 11 and 12, to show the main character. Way too long. It just seemed right though at the time, but yeah, I like that. And this was when I was really starting to kind of get into Silvestri a little bit, trying to mimic his folds and everything in his material and all that kind of stuff. Still didn't know what I was doing, just basically seeing an artist that I liked and just try to mimic his work within my own. Nice little face explosion there. I kind of paid a little homage to that in, page 3? I want to say, of the new Reaper Destroyer, which, by the way, you can check that page out on the campaign. But I've got a nice monster's face exploding there from a gunshot. Kind of introduced a little bit of a similar way. It's just kind of my way of paying homage to the original book. So that was the pages. That was the story. And do a couple pinups here. So one of my character, Genocide. It's one of the original designs of Apophis, which at the time I didn't even think about this character. It's just something I did I thought was cool. And when I was trying to think of a character design for Apophis for the new book, I went back to some of my old characters, my old art, and I was like, you know what? I want to utilize that. So that's I took inspiration from that. Pin-up of Chaos. This was actually from a few years before this. When did I draw that? Does it say? 06, so a year before. This is like before the redesign, like all the tattoos. I actually forgot to put tattoos on her. She does have tattoos, the character does now, but they're all lower body tattoos now. So that kind of changed. But the whole green hair, green lips, the green and gold scheme is still going to be the same. Let's see, one more page. Yeah, the original Vengeance Studio logo, which is cool too. I enjoyed designing it. At the time, I was obsessed with bull skulls. I don't know what it was, but like I absolutely loved it. And I loved how Greg did the chrome kind of like color on there. It really made it pop. And here was the original pencils to that genocide piece, which is, if I'm not mistaken, I think this was the first piece I started to draw right after I switched styles a little bit and started to go a little bit more of the Stephen Platt kind of detail. This might have been actually the first time I went from doing thumbnail smalls to blowing them up and light boxing it as well. So that's crazy, yeah. So anyway, that's just a trip down memory lane there. It's crazy. It's insane to think about where I was and where I am now. Kind of in the same process of working on Reaper Destroyer again, except this time we're actually going to get the book made. So, all right, guys, appreciate you joining me and checking this out. I hope you dug it. I hope you're looking forward to Reaper Destroyer. I hope you liked the preview of the old original Reaper Destroyer book that everyone is talking about. If you like this channel, you like this content, please hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, become a member of the channel, and I will talk to you all later. Peace. Hey everybody, before you go, did you know I have my own comic book called Reaper Destroyer on Indiegogo now? It's an action sci-fi adventure that captures everything about the dark heroes of the 90s that we love, but with a modern day twist. If you haven't yet, please consider backing today. There's a link in the description below, and I will talk to you all later.